In this video, I have some shocking news for Bitcoin, so make sure to watch until the very end if you want to find out exactly what it is. But before we jump into the shocking news, Bitcoin has broken down from the bearish pennant exactly as we predicted over the past couple of days on the CryptoKid channel and on the Moonshow channel as well. We've been highlighting that Bitcoin is very likely going to break below this bearish pennant pattern on the 4-hourly time frame. On the Moonshow channel yesterday,
when
we
I when
even
I
went
look at
ahead and gave a setup to be shorting Bitcoin with that retest to prior supports, which turns into resistance, validating the existence of the pattern. If you were able to jump into that position, congrats, you would be in some profits at the moment. And I would personally remove I would put my stop loss to break even because we got that confirmation with volume to the downside, that rejection from prior support into resistance, which was what I was personally looking at. So Bitcoin doing exactly what we wanted to do. On the Crypto Kids Telegram channel, we gave that update at 5 p.m. my time or 6 p.m. my time on the 23rd. We said Bitcoin is retesting bearish pennant support, turning it into resistance, adding to my hedge short over here. The link to my free Telegram community is down below if you want to join. I post here before I can make my videos, taking profits at 60K, which is still the case. But the shocking news for Bitcoin is the following fact. Yesterday, the extreme fear level, or the level of fear for Bitcoin, was highlighted at the number of 5. Today it is 8, last week it was 10, and last month it was 25. Bitcoin has never, in its history of having the retail data, the fear and greed index data available, never in its prior history printed 5 extreme fear. This was never ever seen before. And I want to show you what that means for the price action. Firstly, the last times that we saw similar amounts of fear for Bitcoin, the 5, 8 levels, was back in the crash that we had in March of 2022 going into June of 2022. From a price level, from a price structure level, in Bitcoin 4-year cycle terms, we are at this stage of Bitcoin right here. It's the same bearish pennant following a bear flag. Timings are the same. We don't need to go over the details for the structural similarities because we did that in prior videos, so I'm not going to waste your time. You already know why things are happening. You already know the structural similarities between this cycle and 2021 going into 2022's bear market price action. So the last time that Bitcoin was this fearful was when we broke down from this bearish pennant in May of 2022 and we capitulated to the 19K territories. That point was 6 extreme fear. So we went to 5. That point was 6. And the time before that was in the COVID crash, which I do not want to include because it's an anomaly value. The time before where we can include was the crash that took place in 2018. So we need to go back another cycle, and that crash was to about $5,000 from the 20K highs. In each of these instances, Bitcoin had the crash, had the capitulation, consolidated, and ended up going to lower price levels. And the bottom of the bear market, at the very bottom, the very bottoming price action was higher in the fear and greed index compared to those capitulation events. So what I mean is the exact bottom in 2018 was 13 fear, whereas that capitulation was 8 fear. In 2022, the exact bottom was 29 fear, but the capitulation was 6 fear. Now we're getting 5 fear. The exact bottom will most likely be higher in the fear and greed index, but the prices will be lower. So I'm still in the expectation that Bitcoin comes to lower price levels. I still expect the bottom to take place between September to October. From a price perspective, the 52s could work, the mid 50s could work, 49K could work, 39, 36 could work. It's impossible to give an exact dollar figure of where Bitcoin will exactly bottom. But I just think that we will continue this bearishness until September, October due to the 4-year cyclical similarities. And I have a bunch of buy orders to accumulate Bitcoin in all of those price points that I've mentioned. So if you are looking to do that, you can check the links in the description today to sign up to Levex, to sign up to Weeks, to sign up to Bybits, and you can do your Bitcoin accumulation and your Bitcoin trading over on those exchanges. So make sure to check out the links in the description to our partners if you want to get the best bonuses available and begin trading. All right. So for me, I see Bitcoin going to lower areas. The fact that we've reached extreme fear 5 is historical. It's a historical record, but it doesn't mean the bottom is necessarily in. I do think that this data point is a strong enough data point to say, hey, you know what, maybe it is a time to start accumulating Bitcoin, because we need to be, as investors, smart enough for having greed when others are fearful, and the vice versa. If you follow the common logic, and if you do what the herd is doing, and you buy in at euphoria when everybody's greedy, then you're buying closer to the top. But instead, if you're buying when everybody's fearful, then you're buying closer to the bottom. It's impossible or very, very complicated to predict the exact bottoming and topping price action. So if you're exiting, DCAing out as you switch into greed, and DCAing in, more importantly, when you're going into fear, historically, if you had the ability to hodl for a couple of months, you actually went into profits quite shortly after. So if I wouldn't personally wait on the sidelines, I think now is a good opportunity to buy. Can we go down lower? I think we will, but it doesn't mean that we should be waiting on the sidelines, because if we did, then there's a good chance that we missed buying Bitcoin overall. And I've done that historically. I don't want to make the same mistake, and I'm not making the same mistake. So I already have exposure. I will add to my exposure and wait for Bitcoin to rally once more. Bear markets are temporary. Wherever the low is going to be, let's say it's at 50s, right? The next bull market high is going to be higher than the last bull market high. Just like how the 2025 high was higher than the 2021 high, so on and so forth. So if we went to 50K, and conservatively speaking, Bitcoin went to 200K as its new bull market top, that is a 300% unleveraged gain. Imagine if we scaled into, which we are doing on Levex, long positions with 2x leverage, 3x leverage. That can take us up to 1,000% return once the next bull market top comes in. So please, we need to use this opportunity wisely. We need to have a long-term mindset, and if we can't have it, then I think it will be very, very profitable for us. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a fantastic rest of your day. If you prefer this beard, make sure to let me know in the comments as to my longer beard, and I'll see you on the next video very soon. Take care, guys, and as always, bye-bye.